Let's get comfy. I'm gonna be in this car for a little while because I'm gonna go on the safari today. Okay, so here's the deal. Safari opened up today at Six Flags, and if you've been paying attention, the rest of Six Flags is closed and probably will be closed for the summer. I mean, it's Jersey after all, but I'm here to explore some animals and to at least have a little bit of fun since we are still on lockdown otherwise. And I am parked at Wawa right now because I came a little bit early. My reservation's at 2. It is 1:35, so I'm just chilling in the parking lot until it's time. So next up, we'll be driving into Safari and the real action can start. Okay. Let's see how this goes. We are heading in. I want to be excited. However, I'm paranoid because there's a wasp that literally just was flying around my car before I checked in. So I'm a little bit paranoid. I hope it's gone, but I'm freaking out. Especially because all the windows have to be shut in. But let's enjoy some safari. They told us to tune into the station for facts.
Safety is a shared responsibility. Please stay in your vehicle and keep your windows, sunroofs, and doors closed at all times, unless instructed by our staff. The speed limit is 5 miles per hour, and our animals always have the right of way. Absolutely no feeding or touching the animals. If you experience any car trouble, pull to the side of the road and put your hazard lights on.
It's exciting though because I used to be on these trucks. I was a part of the opening safari staff. I was a tour guide in 2013 and 14, and I got to be on these trucks every time I worked. So I'm very familiar with these animals. I haven't seen them in like 6 years, obviously, so I won't recognize any of them, but I'm excited to be somewhere familiar and somewhere fun. This is bringing back a lot of memories for me because this is how we used to enter into our safari training wise. So we started, this was the old American Plains, which isn't part of the new safari anymore. So it's really cool to see these signs again. I think that's gonna be the whole takeaway, which I apologize in advance, is this will be a throwback to when I used to work here. Trying to remember some facts about animals. We'll see how it goes. All this space is behind the scenes area. This is where all our animals would be rounded up every night, at least part of them. So the first ones that you can see, these are our Rias. I remember that. There you can get a better look at them. This gate up here is where the actual safari that I know starts. And this is where a lot more animals will be. I also can tell that this was a paper that they told us to put on our dashboard. I guess that shows that we have clearance to go inside. So it's going to be reflective of my windshield, and I apologize about that. In the old safari, you would enter through that path because we're off-road and then drive around. So we're in the Americas section where, again, rhea are all over the place, and then we have elk further down. You can already tell benefit-wise because I'm in a car, it's so much more smooth compared to when you were on those trucks because it was supposed to be an adventure. So I should be able to get better reviews of the animals compared to actually being on a tour. One of the prominent features of off-road adventuring is that we would go off the path into the lake, and a lot of times during the summer the elk and the bison slash buffalo, because they have multiple names that people name them, would be in this area, so you could get a much better look at them this way. But no one's chilling. It's an overcast day, so they're just chilling on the grass. And then we would be up close to the buffalo over there. don't know what the ostrich are doing, but this will be the first of many ostriches we see because they are literally all over the place. I'm zooming in here very, very far, but you can see we have our little turtles. They're not part of the safari, but they always like to hang out in our lakes. I'm glad to see that they're still there. We'll probably see a couple more turtles throughout the sections because it's just the beginning with Africa, and then they're always in like the swamplands. Next is our wild plains where we're gonna see some giraffes, some more ostrich, and I forget who else is in there. Oh yeah, a lot of antelope, lots of antelope. That's like the giveaway for the giraffes, obviously, that they're coming up. Also, do you see this line of cars? That's insane. I really want to know. There has to be like 5,000 cars in the safari currently. It's insane. And this is only for preview day. This is only for season passes and memberships. This isn't even for the general public. So I think they have a success on their hands, at least when people coming out to do stuff. This is also one part of the safari that I always hated doing because there's so much space on the plains. So there's very minimal animals in the first section. Like you can see up ahead, very, very, very faintly, if I let me zoom in, that we have some rheas. Again, no, just kidding. We have some ostriches, but majority of the animals are all clumped together, and then there was nothing to talk about. I am enjoying this a lot better because I literally can just relax, see animals, not really have to know information about them, know who they are, and listen to some music because I don't think the station that's supposed to tell you information is working. I can't tune into it again. And it was just repeating everything I said before, so. I can tell you some facts. This one's a female. Females are gray and the black are males. And the females are also smaller in size besides the coloring. So we do have some educational animals in this, educational animal facts in these videos. Yep, you're learning ostrich. Good job. Hiding, but I got a peacock. There's one over here. Then we have one actually out here. And then we have some antelope behind, which I obviously recognize because I worked here for 2 years, but I forget their name. I'm so sorry. But they're in desert animal. I remember that. And then the ones that are the deer looking creatures behind, I'll get closer. Those are eland. No, waterbuck. Those are waterbuck. I always get those confused, but those are waterbuck. You can see a lot more of them over here. And they're all chilling. They took the plane out. I don't know when they took out the plane. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna insert the picture here. There used to be a plane as a prop, and they still have the Odom Air and the pilot's door, you can see, because when they first opened this, they used to try to have a theme. During the first year that we did this, we had videos that they shot with some actors to make it more in theme, and they wanted it to be like it was a family-owned safari. So they were the wild safari, and it was a boy and a girl and the mother and the father, obviously. And so that's where they added prop for a plane, but it didn't last. So I don't know when they actually took it out because I haven't been here in like 6 years and haven't paid attention, but I think it's funny. The theming clearly failed. And we're back to our roots, where it's just a safari with animals. We've arrived at our giraffes. I love them. They're little sweet creatures. They're giant, gentle giants. And they probably do have the person keeping them with food so they won't come over to the cars and provide damage, because you know people will literally try to pet them and feed them like they said. They also don't have many out. I did see there's more back here in their habitat, so they're probably doing it just for now, because otherwise they would probably hold up the traffic a lot more, and traffic is basically held up already because there are so many cars. But I love them. I love my giraffes so much. They're just so sweet. And then another change we have is this is where Camp Aventura is, which is the halfway point of the safari. With the trucks that they had, you would go into the station and have the option to get dropped off, or you could keep going for the rest of the tour. And there really isn't too much here, but this is where you can do the giraffe feedings. They have little birds that you can see in the gift shop. Not really that much to miss. And of course, during my time here, I would always push people off, because one, if I got an empty truck that I didn't have to like talk to people, then I could relax and take pictures of the animals, which I love to do it. But it was a lot harder just because you can see how empty the space is. So it's not really trying to be selfish as a tour guide, but it was very awkward and uncomfortable to give a tour to 2 or 3 people that decided to stay on all the time, because like you would have to wait a while to get a truck again. So it is a very lengthy experience. I mean, this thing, as I'm going through it, is also a very lengthy experience, but at least you get to chill out in your own car and not have to be surrounded by strangers. So we're gonna continue. We're going into checkpost 7. This is the beginning of our second half of the tour, even though this is still the same safari. Oh, that's loud. I can tell you right up, I forget the name of these animals, which is terrible because these are the unicorns, and I don't know if he's still alive, but there was one that literally only had one horn, so I nicknamed him Charlie. And one time while I was telling people about Charlie, because of course it's reference to Charlie the Unicorn, and if you haven't seen Charlie the Unicorn, I'm too old, but please go and watch it. It's very, very, very obscure and amazing. And obviously it's very strange animation, but there was this dude that was in the front row of my tour the one time who decided that it was hilarious, got the reference, and then started quoting Charlie the Unicorn literally for the rest of the tour, which is 20 minutes. So he kept going on, being like, "It's Leo Pluriton, Charlie." And I was like, I made a mistake. So after that, I kept doing it, but I was like, good when people don't get it, because I just say it nonchalant, be like, "Oh, and Charlie's over there," and then people be like, "Charlie the Unicorn, haha." Another of my favorite animals that are always on the tour, and it's coming out blurry, but these are our sable antelopes, and I love them. They look like they're all new. I mean, I don't know if the other ones died from 6 years ago, but they used to be brown or more of a black, the two that we had. There would be one here and one back in Africa, and they'd be separated. So those look more brown. Those look like possibly females. I have no idea. I'm not an animal expert. I just was told things. But because of their horns, I always would reference Loki, because I'm a Loki fangirl. So I would, and they'd kind of fit the personality of Loki too, because they're black with horns. That's Loki's uniform. And then they would like to be secluded and alone and stalking everyone, because at that time there was only 2 and they were each in a different section. So it fit the profile well. I like to give a lot of pop culture references in my tours to make it more relevant, because a lot of the other tour guides would make it very scientific, and I'm not an animal major, whereas they are. I went for entertainment. So that's the difference, and I wanted to keep things light. It's actually cool that they're chilling over here. You can get a better look in person compared to when we did the tours. That's their habitat that they go into every night. So they are able to close the gates, and you can see that there are some lions if I can zoom in faster. These look like a lot more females or they're cubs at this point. But there we go, there's the zoom. So they can close the gates and make it like a line. And that way they can get into the exclosure here. And they did build, if you can see the white brick, that was the enclosure that the off-road adventure goes through. And so they try to, that's their up close and personal view of the lions, but half the time, which is beneficial now, they're hanging out here farther away. So you're getting a better view of the lions here compared to when the off-road adventure happens. There's actually a lot of lions too. This honestly is more lions than I've ever seen before on a tour. And I've done like thousands of tours. Because most of the time they're in hiding. So going around the back area on the road, you get more exposure to where they are. Like I mentioned before, the ostriches are everywhere. So of course they're hanging out because I guess this is all of Africa. But now we are heading into the Black Bear Ridge. I'm interested to see what happens because beforehand they had them open. All right, it looks like they put electric fence up again because before when we did our tours, the gates would be closed because they would be free roaming in here, but they put the electric fence up again so they could keep the gate open for the cars to go through. This is always one of the best sections because you get to go downhill and it adds a little bit more of a fun experience to it. We got bears over there. I think I am seeing some cubs. Yeah, so I'll get a zoom on the cubs if possible. Yeah, it looks like a little bit bigger cub. I don't think they have any true babies yet. And then they're chilling over here. Like, I know they're a very dangerous animal and we understand that, but like when they're laying around like this, they are really cute. But that's why we have teddy bears. So I know the car is getting a good view of it, but like, dude, I'm at a very awkward angle right now. My car is slanted so much because I'm going down a hill, but I have to keep on the brakes. Thank you for moving. All right, cool. This is bear country, everyone. It wouldn't happen a lot, but a lot of times during the summer especially, you would have the bears swimming in this water. The algae is in there, but it's not as high today. It does clump up a lot more, and then the entire pool, well not pool but lake, is covered in algae. So a lot of the guests would ask what that is. That would be one of the weird common questions that I would get. People would be grossed out by the green stuff. And I'm like, it's algae, it's natural. Like, you get that in your pools too. So it's always interesting being on the other side of it. You can actually see it better here. This is what I'm talking about. So all of this green stuff would be covering the entire pool, and then they would enjoy eating it too because it is nutritious for them. So it's not like it harmed anyone. Next up, we are entering into Terra Unis, which is brown bears, because you had black bears, brown bears, lion, tigers, bears, oh my. Because the brown bears are bigger than the black bears, they are also more dangerous. So from the beginning, they were always behind electric fence. And that was also another weird thing to answer for people, because people would get very, very offended that they're behind electric fence. I'm sorry for the shaky footage, but from my experience, these were always more active bears. Ooh, he's torn up, holy shoot. These bears were always the more active ones compared to the black bears, but they were both really active. And the nice thing is with them is that they have this giant lake here for them to swim into. We do have some bears swimming right now, which is awesome. And they do spend a lot of time. And even though they are behind the electric fence, they do have tunnels that they can go underground. So they're up there. I'll show you in a second. We sleep in the water. They do this a lot. They take naps in the water and it's really cute. You can see over here, there's a couple sections, but this is one of the tunnels. So it's underneath the road. They can walk through it and then go on the other side, which is a bunch of foliage right now. But that way it makes it a little bit easier for them to chill and cross and get the free roaming space that they deserve, because they're awesome. This is where we're exiting our animals for a while until we get to Australia. This was always the worst part of the tour because there's nothing here. This is all our natural swampland. It's a lot more relaxing to drive through it by yourself instead of sitting with a bunch of strangers trying to talk to them about things. So this legitly is natural swampland. They didn't touch it at all. It has a lot of birds and turtles and really small creatures. So it's just relaxing to drive through, but there's nothing really to see in here unless you look really close because they didn't add anything. Oh, we still have the sign, upgraded ticket to the season pass. Great, thank you marketing. I hated this so much. That's the one thing. I hated how they always had to upsell everything. So the fact they're like, yeah, in the middle, because there's nothing happening here. So in the middle of it, they're just like, yeah, upgrade it. I'm also peeking ahead at Australia. I'm so glad they took down the Outback because that's another thing. Literally the worst advertising they could do. This wasn't the first year, this was the second year they brought it in, and they literally had an Outback Steakhouse advertisement in front of Australia. You would come up here and you see, oh, they named it to Didgeridoo Pass. They nicknamed it, they changed it, but we do have our kangaroos, our snakes, which you don't see, turtles, and this is like Australian art, but they had it for Outback. We can't really see a good view of them. They're all chill in the back. They're pretty much hiding, but there you go. There's a little taste of kangaroos. And I'm gonna see if I can get closer, but this is where they normally would hang out a lot more, but there's really no kangaroos here at all, and there's no emus. So I don't know what happened with them, because they're missing from here too. Our tiger land, which I'm actually really happy that I'm not working at this place now. Honestly, I can only imagine if they actually do open up this summer back to their old format, how many people are gonna ask all the tour guides about Tiger King and comparing this area to Tiger King, because you know, that's what I would expect. And I got so many questions that I never thought I would get. So we know they're coming. But I really don't think this is changing this summer. Of course, they're enclosed like the lions were. So we have our white tigers here, our Bengal tigers, and then our Siberian tigers up ahead. And then this is at the end of our tour as well, so you can see the difference. There's still so many cars coming in that closes at 4 o'clock. So this is towards the end of it, but it took me a lot longer. I mean, we're not done yet, but it's 3:30 now. And I had my reservation for 2 o'clock. So I can expect, and there's a bunch of antelope here too, as always. And then, oh, I forgot about those animals. They're like Asian. They're an antelope, and they're one of the biggest antelope, but they're really pretty, and I forget their names. I'm terrible. I can expect though that the cars that are coming in for 4 o'clock probably aren't getting out till like 6. Can't see them right now, but there's so many babies. Okay, so I remember these animals are called addicts. And they have babies, and I can't tell you facts. They're like the mountain goats, but they're a little different. And they have babies again, and I love the babies. They're so freaking cute. Oh my gosh, hi. Hi, babies. I'm so obnoxious with this, but oh my gosh, look how cute. Okay, we're gonna go back to tigers now. This is always the hard part too, because you can see there's a tiger there, and it's not a good shot at all, but they have a huge enclosure here. Over here, not so much. But you can see that there's one tiger here, although he's a little bit hidden because he's underneath the bench. Wait, no, that's not a tiger, that's a lion. Why is a lion cub there? What, wait, why is a lion? And this is the other enclosure for the tigers. I don't see any at all either. I'm confused. I don't know what happened. Because this is where our Siberian tigers are, and I only saw one tiger and one lion cub. Oh wait, tiger's over here. Okay, so the tiger's all the way in the back, and I can't zoom in that well, but there you go. So he's sleeping. And then of course normally that's where you would exit and enter as well. The enter of the safari would be over here, the exit would be back there to go back into the theme park. But since the theme park's still closed, we're just going ahead. And then that brings us back to the beginning, to the Americas section, where you can see a huge line of cars still. And then, yeah, we get to go see the baboons. We're going into Baboon Village as we exit. So another bonus that you don't get on the off-road safari, you get to see baboons. So this is where all the yaks are. I forgot that they were a thing because they used to be at the exit of the old safari, that near the tigers. So now they're here with the baboons, and I'll get a better look at the baboons as we get closer. But then you can also see behind us that we have Bizarro and El Toro. And so if you do go on Bizarro, when you come up, you are able to see this area here and the safari before you spiral down into loop and then actually go on the ride. So it's fun. All right, here are baboons. I have no information about them. I never learned about them because I never needed to. I just know that they're a big deal because apparently in the original safari that was similar to this, they would come and jump on everyone's cars. So now they're behind enclosure with the fence, so they can't get out. I mean, even though they have weird butts, they kind of are cute. And with that is the end of our safari experience. And we're back in the parking lot of where we used to park. So this was always where we would go before we would get on our trucks. And then inside, that is where the little rest stop area would be. And that's where our bathrooms were if we needed them, and where we'd meet in the morning to get our reviews and prepare our trucks for the day. So, I mean, I like how they actually position them here. At this point, it's still so hard to say because this has gone on for so much longer than we first expected to. I mean, we shut down in March, in the middle of March, and we're at the end of May, going into June. So at least we have this to come back to. I'm really excited, and I'm really, really, really glad that this is an option. So thank you guys for coming along with me. This was the first opening day preview. I think it went really well. I loved the old element of it, that you could relax. It took a lot longer than planned because they said to provide an hour, and it took 2 hours. I think it was worth it. I have the season pass, so it's not costing me anything extra. But for people that are going per person, it's $17 per person, so it is a little bit pricey that way. But if you have a season pass or a membership, then it's definitely worth coming, and I'm definitely gonna be back. But until then, I will see you guys next time.